I love it when it tells me that I'm live streaming. And I'm always there faster than whenever it says that I'm actually there. So there we go. I just mute it. Boom. And we're all set. Good to go. All right. So everybody in TV land, everyone in my Zoom room, I am going to do a session. This is role play, a somatic inquiry practice that involves movement and awareness. And today I'm going to take us on a journey into using our body as a refuge, using our coming into ourselves as a way. Oh, there's my little kitty who's been sick. So he's going to join us for the day. My little kitty. He's the big fat kitty, but he's been sick for a few days. So I'm always happy when he's in the room when I'm doing somatic practices. Oh, and the other two are back there. So, yeah, taking refuge in your body. And so we're going to dive in and we're going to go pretty quickly through these breaths. When I say quickly, I don't mean quickly, but I'm not going to teach a lot. So take it at your own uh, responsible for your own body level. And I'm going to start seated. You could be on the floor, in a chair, even walking. You could do this in any way, shape, or form that feels right to you. You could move, you could not move. You can tune into micro movement. You can just stay in stillness, whatever works for you. But we're going to start out with 3 layers of breath practice. And the first layer is a continuum breath. And of course, you can move while we're doing this or not. The first layer is a continuum breath, and it's called the Theta breath. And it's a soft hiss, as if like steam is gently releasing from a radiator or a radiator if you're English, or somewhere else. I don't know where else they say that. But so starting in with that Theta breath and just letting it slowly leave your body. So it's going to slow down your exhalation. You don't need to make it last forever. Just let it last until you want to breathe in again. And if that feels stressful at all, just don't do it. Just breathe and hang out with us. Off we go. Using that breath to come into presence, to receive yourself, to come into being in your body. You can hear it, you can feel it. It's an opportunity to slow down. So I'm going to offer one thought with this breath. We're going to kind of take uh, this session today as kind of like a inception into our bodies, like the movie Inception, where they keep going into the next dream, deeper into the next dream, deeper into the next dream. So this is our sort of surface layer of being in our body with that theta breath, feeling into what's happening inside and how are you in your body today? What do you feel like without the need to change, just to accept and be with? And to notice what's happening, what it feels like, to tune into bodily sensations. You can take resting breaths whenever you want. And we're not trying to erase the outer world. We're just trying to give it less attention. So if thoughts are happening, if planning is happening, if judgment is happening, just go, oh, that's happening. But you don't need to get worried about the fact that it's happening or try and stop it. You're just going to come back into sensation, just coming back into, what does it feel like in here? And then I just want to offer one more thing, the escape hatch, that if things do get really uncomfortable and you need to change it, then open up your eyes, look around, take in the space, go for a walk, do whatever you need to do so that you're really deeply honoring your own body and your process and your speed. It might be that we can enter slowly, a little tiny dose at a time, or maybe we can dive all the way in. So, really letting yourself do whatever it is you need to do. Deeply trusting that however you're participating today with this is exactly the right way for you. And ultimately, there is no right or wrong. So, however it's playing out is how it's playing out, and that's fine. So, we're going to take that theta breath. I'm going to come in a little closer so you can see. So, my theta breath was like this, my tongue just behind my teeth. I'm going to now kind of widen my tongue, and I'm going to, so it's like instead of it becomes, and I can let my tongue kind of move in there. So it's adjusting the sound of my breath. And don't worry about right or wrong with this. Whatever's happening in there is fine. We're not trying to make some perfect sound or do anything. It's just to be aware. And we're just taking it a layer deeper with this next sort of diffused theta. So if theta had this tongue that was very specific, now the tongue just kind of frees up. And whatever sound comes out, comes out. You could think of your tongue kind of spreading in the horizontal plane, but having some freedom in there. To me, it kind of somehow reminds me of like flying and the sounds where everything sort of has changed because of the air pressure change and the sounds of the airplane. So if that's a stressful image, I apologize, but thinking of kind of that shifts of air pressure sounds. And I'm really freeing up my tongue, my throat, my jaw. And this brings me more into my own back space, feeling the back of my body. So for me, the theta is kind of moving, like bifurcating like a barge through the water out into the world. And when I switch to this expanded version, which is a breath that I've just made up, I'm sure other people have made it up too, it doesn't have a name. Then I have more like I'm more inside, and there's this alive sort of shaping flow happening in my tongue. It's more internal. So playing with that a little bit more if that feels good. We're just playing with this, the theta, but diffusing the breath so that there's more space for the tongue to really move around. So it's not theta anymore at all. We started with theta, now we're spreading. And we're kind of, it's almost like we can fly, almost like our tongue can just fly in our head. But all this is happening at this very internal level of bringing your awareness deeper and deeper into your sensation. But for me, there's still a very active participation of this breath coming out. And I can participate with the differentiated sounds or with the feeling of the movement. Both in my tongue and also in my body. So we're going to take it one layer deeper. And this breath is called the Luna breath or the lunar breath. It's a breath from continuum. And if you've practiced yoga and practiced ujjayi breathing with that kind of like clamping a little bit, tension in the back of the throat on the exhale and the inhale, we're only going to practice this breath on the exhale. Our inhale will be in through our nose, natural inhale if possible through our nose. And the exhale will be this tiny, tiny, homeopathically distilled ujjayi breath. So it's almost nothing. It's almost like you're just listening to the sound of your exhale with your mouth closed. And if you actually have earbuds in, it makes it really easy to hear those. So you're listening inside your own head to the most gentle, tiny, tiny bit of tension in there just so that you can feel it. And we're inviting ourselves to just go deeper into this inner space. We'll just breathe with that for a few minutes. And if you feel like moving, move. If you don't want to move, don't move. Really letting your body respond in whatever way feels most delicious. Taking refuge in your body. Taking refuge in physical sensation and awareness. Allowing your nervous system to really soften and unwind. So very deep, deep layers of softening, melting, finding ease, moving towards ease. And if it feels good to have your hands somewhere on your body, feel free to stick your hands on your body. Inviting yourself to go deeper into yourself. If you have a really strong stillness practice, this would be a great time to invite micro movement to bubble up, to allow movement, to allow internal adjustment, to allow freedom. Yeah, so if you've got that robust stillness practice, start to let that bubble, start to let that percolate, start to let some aliveness come into tiny, tiny micro movement sensation. You could almost think that you're dancing to the sound that you can barely hear of your breath inside your body. Taking it deep inside, awareness deep, deep, deep. In a way, you're letting your awareness kind of cocoon inside your body. And within that cocoon, whatever transformational tiny movements, whatever caterpillar melting, gooing so that you can turn into a butterfly is happening, let it happen. Just tune into it. Cocooning in. And imagine that you're coming into your center. So what does that even mean? Whatever it means to you. Could be like your lower dantian or your prana, your chi. It could also just be your midline. Coming into center. Bringing yourself into yourself. Diving in with your awareness. Like if your whole body was just a pool of water, dive right down into the center of that. And then just notice. What are you noticing in there? Sometimes when I'm following movement in one area in my body, I can really start to feel a tension pattern somewhere else. So sometimes like my awareness can be very much over here and then, but I feel something over here. So I can work with that, pinging back and forth between one and the other, slowing myself down and inviting whatever that tension pattern or whatever that awareness pattern that I'm noticing to soften, to become more diffused. Allowing yourself to really enter deeply. So wherever you are in your exploration, can you go in a little bit deeper? Staying with whatever kinds of movement are arriving, letting whatever breath wants to happen, happen. So you can use any of those breaths to play that Luna breath or that sort of expanded freedom tongue breath or the Theta breath, anything that is interesting. Going into your own exploration and seeing if you can keep allowing your awareness to go deeper. And so for me, it's like, what am I feeling inside? And I feel like sometimes it's almost like colors or sensations. Sometimes it's very buzzy, energetic. And so I think like, oh, if I find that deep buzz layer of sort of what it feels like to be me, can I go deeper into that? It's almost like deconstructing what those things are. If we were talking in non-dual terms, we'd say, could I notice the emptiness of that? But I want to think of it actually as just peeling back another layer, taking away another layer, just to go deeper into my experience. And as I'm diving deeper into that pool of myself, letting the stuff on the outside just soften and melt away. So I'm creating the opportunity, the possibility of more ease. As I'm in this dive, in this pool of awareness, I can go, is there something I can let go of right there? Maybe. Bringing sound, breath, awareness, movement into this space, this internal space, so that I can go in there and find some refuge. Communing with my deep self. Nobody's pulling on me. I'm not responsible for anything other than just being here with myself. I can let go of any plans, anything I'm supposed to do, and just be. And maybe in that space, there's a sense of sort of, it could be like a thrumming, like a rhythm, or some kind of wave patterns. All the techie people might have kind of like particle stuff happening, a particle, a wave. Can you go into that place where you start to notice the shifts? Maybe it's the shifts from the sensation of stillness to the sensation of movement. Maybe it's letting your energy drop. So letting yourself, or even just like the weight of your body really just descending into the earth. And as that energy and weight is descending, letting the muscles and the tissue and the fascia and the organs and the ideas just soften. Nothing to hold on to. Letting it like slip through your fingers like sand. Nothing to grasp onto. It's like trying to hold on to air. When you close your hand, the air's gone. So letting go of all that stuff. Just being present with your awareness deep, deep inside. You don't need to drown anything out. Whatever sounds are happening, they're happening inside you. You can be with them. It's not separate. I'm going to take this down to the ground. You are free to do this in any way that feels good. It's pretty cold here today, so I'm going to lay on my blanket. And I know, Terry, you got to leave at some point. I don't think I'm adding music at all today, so if you need to leave, just bounce out. And I'm going to actually bring in more movement. Now that I've gone fairly deep with my awareness, I'm going to invite movement and micro movement to integrate my awareness with this physical body, with sensation, bringing it deeper, connecting it more. So in a way, it's like we're creating these these neurons are firing to create these relationships within ourselves. So I'm giving them a little bit more information when I start to move so that I can really dance with my own awareness. And it's not to say that you have to take every tension out of your body. Sometimes the dance involves pushing with tension or pulling. Those are also just flows of energy. And when we do sort of engage with that kind of maybe contracting a little bit and then expanding a little bit, when we start to engage with that, we can become more aware of when it's happening in our life in general, because we're starting to build these relationships of noticing. I can start to notice my energetic pattern. And as soon as I sort of notice it, then things shift. It changes. Right? We shine the light of awareness deep, deep within ourselves. What do we notice? If judgment comes up, let that go. That's not part of the deep part of who you are. That's just a mirage. If self-compassion comes up, that is part of it. Be with that. So for people who haven't spent their lives in movement practices, but maybe have done a lot of meditating, you might sometimes feel like you need to nudge things a little bit to bring in more awareness. Maybe use your imagination a little bit to bring in more of that connection to bodily sensation. You could just touch the tips of your fingers with your thumb just to awaken that distal edge, or maybe wiggle your toes. Feel what your socks or your shoes or the floor feels like. It can be a tiny little thing that brings in so much information. Yeah, so as I started touching into my fingers, I became very aware of my scapula. And then from there, of my breath and my lungs. But I can go deeper than that. That's under the surface of that awareness. Sometimes when I wake up in the night, I just bring my mind into this place and then go into that. Just seeing how deep I can go into my awareness of sensation, of being in a human body. Or we could say of just being alive. What does it feel like to be alive? What does it feel like to be in the depths of yourself and be alive? Are there little, do you have like little corsets inside of you holding you together? Can you unlace them and just let everything flow and be more open and expansive? I don't know where that image came in. It just sounds, it seems so funny. These little restrictions, these little holdings. Oh, that's my holding. Can I let go of some of the holding? Can I soften? Can I let the fluid in my body just descend a little closer to the ground? And then can I move a little bit so that I can feel that as I move? Oh, I can feel the fluid in my body shifting and adjusting. Where is my awareness? Can my awareness go deeper? Yeah, can I take off the backpack of all the things I'm carrying around and just leave it off to the side for a little while and just be in this free flowing baby body? No extra tension, no extra responsibility, just for a few minutes. Letting myself take refuge in that place of nothing to do, just be here, just rest in awareness. If it feels like you're trying hard to go deeper, then let that go. It's almost like it's a free fall and you just get to slide deeper in if that feels good. But if it becomes effortless, effortful, and grippy, then just come further to the surface and notice whatever you notice. Not every day is the easiest day to dive deep, or every day is the easiest day to dive deep, but every day is a different day, so it's always going to be a different experience. We're just layering our awareness of diving in and being with ourselves. Deep, deep self-acceptance, deep, deep permission. Maybe there's some stuff lodged in there that needs to shake free, that needs to vomit out. So I'm coming to the surface and I am going to end this live in 1 second. I have a person watching. Thank you for joining. Please like and subscribe if you have.